Everyone, so today I want to talk about something called the order of operations. So this is when you have a problem and there's multiple different kinds of operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, all in one. There's actually a certain order that you're supposed to solve it in. So an easy way, or an easy saying that we use to help us remember the order is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So every single one of those words starts with a letter that has to do with an operation. So the P in please stands for parentheses. It's whatever is in the parentheses you solve first. That's the first order of operations. Excuse stands for E, exponents. This is something that we're going to talk about a little bit more. You are going to talk about a little bit more in 5th grade. But essentially what exponents are is if you have 3 to the 2nd power, it means you're going to multiply 3 by itself 2 times. If you have 3 to the 3rd power, it means you're going to multiply 3 by itself 3 times. So it's basically a short way to write multiply by itself. But like I said, that's going to be more of a 5th grade topic. That's number 2, operation number 2. Number 3 and 4, I guess, kind of go together. My dear. So the M in my stands for multiplication. And the D in the D in dear stands for division. So the reason they're on the same level, they're grouped together, is because these operations actually are equal to one another. One of them has to go first, because otherwise, how are you going to list the order? But it actually does not have much to do with how you solve the problem. In fact, you just solve it from left to right. So for example, this has both multiplication and division. In this case, I would solve multiplication first because it comes first. In this case, I would solve division first because it comes first. So it goes left to right, and whichever one you see first is the one that you solve first. That's why those get to be put on the same level, multiplication and division. Same thing with addition and subtraction. They are different operations, but they're on the same level. That's why this little arrow is above it. You go from left to right. So whichever one pops up first when you're reading the problem, that's the one that you do first, whichever one comes first in the problem. So let's start with a problem like this, kind of a long one. And then I'm going to have my little list of Pemdas. Let me see if you can see this. Next to me as I solve the problem. I'm even going to put my little arrows above M and D and A and S to remind myself that it's just left to right order. So the first thing on my list is parentheses, and I see that I have one right here. So I'm going to underline the part that I'm solving. 6 plus 3 is what's inside the parentheses, and 6 plus 3 is 9. And then I'm just going to write the rest of my problem the way it is. Plus 4 times 5. So that's my parentheses done. The next operation in the order is exponents, but like I said, you're probably not going to see much of exponents in 4th grade. It's going to be more of a 5th grade thing. No exponents here. Next is multiplication or division, depending on which one the problem has. In this problem, I see I do have a multiplication, so I'm actually going to solve that part first, even though it's the second half of my problem. That's why I have this order, to tell me where to go. 4 times 5 is 20. And then the rest of my problems gets to stay the same. I'm not trying to change the problem, just trying to solve it. So that's the M. There was no D. Whoops, wrong color. So next in the order of operations is A and S, addition or subtraction, and that's actually all that's left here. 9 plus 20 is 29. So the order of operations does make a big difference in terms of your answer. So what I want to do is hop over here and show you the same problem solved without order of operations. So for this problem here, I just solved it from left to right. Parentheses was on the very left, so I solved that first. 9, and then I dropped the rest down to match. Addition was on the very left, so I solved that first. 13, and then I dropped down the times 5. 13 times 5 is 65. So compare the two answers that I got, one being 29 when I solved it the right way, one being 65 when I solved it the wrong way. So you might think, what does it matter, the order? This is why it matters. Two completely different answers for the same problem, just based on how you solved it or in what order you solved it. So you guys are going to practice PEMDAS, and I'm sure you're going to take some great notes. Remember, P is parentheses, E you won't use often is exponents, M and D multiplication and division belong on the same level. Same with addition and subtraction. You guys are going to practice more with your teachers.